Good evening, Gooners. Welcome to In the North Bank. I'm joined by Richard and John at the bottom.
Evening, Gooners.
Yeah, and
Evening.
yeah, nice. It's all good. Good to see you guys. I know we've hit the boring time of the season, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
it definitely is a bit
lull.
slow.
Yeah, but yeah, with a little bit of optimism, I suppose, going into the new season. I think with how the season was in a whole, I think it was encouraging. Certainly going into this coming season, and what then is at stake as such. So it'd be good to get down and well digging into silly season, which we like to call it at the Arsenal. But yeah, Richard, how's it going?
But not too bad. As I said, I've started back to work. It's the first time in the year because of this autoimmune disease I've had. So it's actually good and a little bit of hope going forward that I can live some sort of normal life again.
No, that's good. No, yeah, it will come. It will come. Just give
Yeah.
it time. Give it time. It takes time to get back in the groove. How's it going, John?
All right, guys. Good to see you. Thanks for the
Yeah,
invite on. Nice to
yeah,
see
no
you, Richard. Yeah,
Nice to see you again, John.
a silly season now, isn't it? Arsenal are buying everyone and anyone, basically.
that's it. Yeah.
Your guess is as good as mine who we're getting, but it's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's it. It's yeah, we're always linked with 1,001 players, and yeah, where do you stop with it? Really, that's it. And it's only magnified more this season because yeah, we're in dire need of numbers. We are a little bit short today. We've obviously got some injuries. I think it's this kind of it's dragged on from Arsenal back in at the end part of the season. So yeah, no, we're a couple of lads down for tonight, but we're going to soldier on with us three. So it should be good enough to get some good stuff. But yeah, as I say, it's always just naturally a boring time. And yeah, funny enough, we got international football, and normally we class that as the interlull, don't we? And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just close season, and we got interlull, so it's like a double bore. With the way I see it, it's just really just frustrating. I almost want pre-season to start and get back to it again, but it is what it is. Will it be for Arsenal to actually be playing with an actual striker? That
Yeah,
is,
I think it's we need it, don't we? I mean, we saw towards the end of last season that we struggled with out striker that's going to get you 15 to 20 goals a season, and that's where we got to look at that sort of area.
yeah. It's as I say, it's one of those where we know we've been hamstrung, haven't we, through the season? And to be honest, let's make it real. Any other team that were not or didn't have that capacity with the strikers would have struggled through the season, and it's testament to what the group we actually had or what we finished with still got us to where we were. And yeah, not everyone's cup of tea about the decisions and stuff coming into January and not signing anyone. Is it a bad thing, or was it a bad thing, or a good thing? Yeah, we don't really know. Personally, I think it was a fair decision. There's no right or wrong way to look at it. Really, we could have signed someone for 50, 60 million pounds, and it went pear shaped itself, and we ended up with a striker that hasn't scored or whatever. So it hasn't actually helped us. But we've gone and panicked, and we've got someone in that maybe wasn't our first or second choice. So I look at it. Yeah, it's one of those where look, if we had goals coming in from Lacazette or Aubameyang, then it would have been very good. But this flip side would have been, how interesting would it have been? And this is what I'm going to ask you guys. Where potentially Arsenal may have been had Arteta stuck with and maybe trusted Nketiah a lot quicker in the season. I mean, if we look at him, 12 starts this season, yeah, with 10 goals scored in those games all through the season. Shows that there is a player there, and again, it's not everyone's cup of tea. People or fans say he's not good enough. He's not going to take us to the next level, but let's say he's only 22, and there's certainly development there. But what are your thoughts? I'll go to you, John, first this time.
Well, on Eddie.
Yeah.
Well, I can't lie. At the beginning of the season, when we got rid of, when all palaver carried on, I was very, very concerned that we didn't have a natural striker that could take his place. And let's not deny the fact he was one of the best strikers in Europe at the time. Whatever happened, and he kind of left us in the lurch, whatever way you want to look at it. But you could sort of, if even Arteta has said he overlooked Eddie, didn't he? Maybe if he'd have played him earlier, had a bit more faith in him, he may have got us into Champions League. You don't know, do you? But from what I can see at the minute, he's progressing. He wasn't my cup of tea, but I think he definitely deserves a chance. Let's face it, his goals have got us in the Europa Cup, whatever way we look at it. Without his goals, we wouldn't be there. Lacazette don't look like he was going to get us there. Obviously, Arteta had a change of mind and thought, no, I better try something else because this ain't working. I don't think he's going to be our main striker, or I don't think he's going to be our main striker, but, you just don't know the way it's going. Personally, he needs a proven striker that can get 20 goals a season, proven in Europe, and a proven scorer. He needs that to help him improve his career, because we can't just flog him. We can't rely on him for the rest of the season. I'm with him, someone more experienced. But, probably need two more strikers, to be honest. If we're serious, it's going to be a long season. The season's going to be split in three parts by the look of it, or 2 parts with a World Cup. And Eddie ain't even signed the contract yet, so he's staying. Do you know what I mean? Who knows at the minute?
I think
he could be. We're assuming he's staying, isn't he? But
I think there's a clue from the social media stuff that they've just been releasing with for pre-season with him there. So that's I'd
imagine he's going to stay. And
I think it's just the final dots.
Yeah, I'll get you. But I'll give him 100% credit, because I didn't have faith in him either. But he come in and did. He couldn't do no more than what he did, to be honest. Towards the end of the season, I think he did well. But whether he's good enough to carry that over for a whole season next season, I personally don't think so. He needs backup. He needs another proven striker to help him along the way. Who that is, I don't know. They keep saying about this Jesus guy, but I personally can't see him coming. And I don't want Man City or Chelsea rejects myself. To me, that's just there for the money, and that's it. I want someone else that wants to come to Arsenal because they love Arsenal and they want to play for Arsenal. But who knows? Are them days gone? I might be living in dream world. But he's earned his chance, and I think we managed to bluff it into the Europa League, which is what Mikel Arteta and Kroenke are more than happy with. Because let's face it, first 3 games of the season, I was thinking we'd be lucky if we get top 12, and so 5 was really good for Mikel Arteta. Not me. Weren't my. I think we should have still come fourth, but it is what it is. We're in Europe, and that's good. Do you know what I mean? But we need a lot bigger squad now because there's a hell of a lot of games to play.
Yeah, no, agreed. What about you, Richard?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Nketiah, eight got 8 games, 5 goals. You've got to say that if he put that sort of consistency over a whole season, you're looking at 15 goals. You add a Jesus or somebody else in there gets another 15. That's 30 goals between your two strikers. You add a wide forward, another wide forward like Gakpo or something, and then you've got a good front. You've got a versatility and adaptability in the front line because Jesus can play on either wing, Nketiah can play through the middle, Gakpo can play as a forward. So you've got that ability to interchange. Martinelli can play as a main man up top. You could even keep Balogun, I suppose, for cup games. Personally, I'd send him out on loan again because I don't think he's quite ready yet. But there are other options there. You bring in another striker on top of whoever your main striker is going to be, and have Eddie as your preferred choice. And as I said, you're going to have European games, you're going to have cup games, and the Premier League. I think Nketiah is probably your first choice in the Europa League stages because I think he's good enough for those lesser teams. And then you leave your main striker for the difficult Premier League games and have Eddie on the bench to come.
Yeah, I think we're looking for someone definitely that has a minimum of 15 goals a season, and then it would be almost a similar target for Nketiah to play in as well. You look at what he's done this year in competitions, certainly towards the latter part of the season where he's been playing, but 12 starts and then even with his substitute appearances, 10 goals. Had he had more of those starts, then who knows? You could have been looking at maybe our top scorer this season. You don't know. The way he started stretching teams made it a lot better, certainly to watch anyway, than Lacazette or even Aubameyang at early parts. There just seems a bit more intent with him, and that's what you want to see as a striker. But yeah, that's Nketiah really. Which we hope he stays. But just going to pop in to the chat for a second. Alex from Cannon Fodder TV is in the house.
Hi, Alex.
How you doing, Alex? Hope you're well. And we've lost.
He's moved.
Yeah, he's gone. But yeah, as I say, this is gonna be a massive transfer window.
I think it's a massive window. Are they going to go for two similar strikers in, like Jesus and a similar one, or are we going to have two contrasting ones? I mean, with Scamacca links, he's a completely different type of forward to Jesus. Jesus is more of a false nine, whereas Scamacca is a big target guy and can put his head on the ball in the box. So
yeah,
it might be. I mean, and then it's where do you supplement elsewhere, isn't it, as well? That's I think I've been looking at it, and I think at the moment we're about linked to 120 players. I know
that's normal. That's a normal transfer window. That's a sum 120. I think it's gone up to about 632.
Yeah, I'm told on the Arsenal do one every year where they actually list every single player that has been linked with us.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've gone through it all from all those years from everyone following Higuain round, following his plane, tracking his plane, and waiting for it to land. Didn't land anywhere. Yeah, we've had it all. Even Isaac in the summer or January, wasn't it? Someone was following a car with his number plate. It obviously just photoshopped. So yeah, it's just silly season. But yeah, Alex says, how much of a war chest will Arsenal need for the transfer window? It's really hard. It's hard to gauge when you look at it.
Yeah,
we say we have.
I said at the start of the season just gone, we would need 750 million over three transfer windows to be challenging for the Premier League again. We're not going to get that, but I think a minimum before you add in player sales is 150 million, 150, 160, and then with player sales to top that up. And I would be expecting to get upgrades on your players like Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I'd keep Xhaka.
We'll go through the particulars shortly.
But I'd still want the player to replace him in the Premier League, or make him challenging for his spot. So an upgrade on that is not bad. Somebody to cover Partey. You might say Lokonga could do that, but I don't think he's that sort of player. I think he's more of your sort of box to box. I don't think he's a holding. So, but we need 2 or 3 players in each position. I mean, if you look at our squad, once you get up to about 15, 16, then the drop off in quality is noticeable, and that's what hurt us towards the end of the season. The drop in quality from your first 15, 16. So you're going to need 7 players in. And
yeah, we finished with 17 players with 3 injuries. So that basically meant every bench was having those little warmers that were the youngsters, who weren't ready, and that was probably for the last three months of the season. So any team that was in that kind of situation would find it very hard, and it just showed that season was a tale of 2 halves. There was one which was really good. We were really strong. We were really compact and hard to break down. That was the first part of the season. Then we come into the new year. We have the decent result, performance against City in the new year. Then go and lose at Forest, and then after that we started picking up, and it was no surprise that we dropped off, because the last 10 games we never kept a clean sheet, and that was part of the reason why we dropped so many points, because we weren't as resolute as we was, and we were making silly mistakes. We weren't as organised, but that comes down to injuries and moving away from our normal kind of setup.
We had 13 different defensive combinations.
Yeah, it all affects it. It all affects the dynamics.
So when you don't have that continuity, it's going to
losing your 2 wing backs would just is the main problem. Anyone that would lose their two main wing backs that have done so well in that first part of the season would struggle.
We just very rarely had a settled team, did we? All the way.
Well, that's it. But,
what was
go on.
I'd like to know what was the most consistent we had. The starting 11. How many games did the same team play in a row? What was the maximum we did? That couldn't have been a lot, if you know what I mean. The same defence, same midfield.
No,
how many games did they play in a row?
Yeah, it was all. It was all. It's been. We've been hitting different at different times with players through either illness or injuries, and it was just it was a very testing season.
And
I just think, but yeah, the cluster bombs that were thrown at Arteta with the two strikers. I'd say I don't know. I don't tar Lacazette in the same brush as Aubameyang.
no,
No, I mean, I
But
think
he's tried. And it's testament to all the other players around the squad of his qualities and what he was about. I'm sure he had everything the right things at heart, but there was just something there that he wasn't able to give us. And I think that was confidence. At the end of the day, I've never seen a striker so devout of confidence when he was in and around the goal or in the box. Can I take a shot? No, I won't. I'm too worried about it. I can't do it. I'll pass to someone else. Then the chance goes.
yeah, I
But
think too much pressure on him. They wanted too much out of him. Do you know what I mean, Paul?
yeah,
Like you say, what he's no Alba. He couldn't. He was never going to replace him. But
no, but Orba was kind of a similar as well. It was the game. What was the game at home where he's missed the open goal?
oh yeah,
Literally
he
just
did
there.
have a poor start to the season,
Yeah,
but
there were a
on his
few things we missed like three penalties. I think they managed to score one from a rebound against Villa, and then missed one I think against Watford. But then so it was just those little kind of things. It just weren't happening for either of them. And go back to Alex's question about the war chest. So I'm thinking this in my head. So we're looking at two strikers. So we're looking at someone that is maybe a target man or someone that is a bit more physical. Shamika is 30 million, 35 million, I would probably say. With Jesus, I reckon we could potentially get him for 45 or 50 at
and with
the maximum.
Jesus, he plays
If
across the front
City,
three, doesn't
if
he?
City are saying that they want more than 50, then I'm sorry, we shouldn't be pandering to them and saying, all right, we'll give you 70 or whatever. If it becomes a bidding war, then we need to step away because it isn't going to solve anything. Is Jesus a player that is going to change everything about what we do as a football club and change the way we're playing? I don't know. He'll be a massive ingredient and something that will improve the squad and the side. But I don't think he would be that integral and that important for the team as to warrant paying, say, what was maybe a £40 million fee to then going up to 60 or 65 or whatever. But City aren't in a position to really start bartering and asking for crazy money. He's got a year left, so
my mates that support City are adamant that he ain't going, Paul. That they don't know where all this is coming from. That they are telling me that he ain't going nowhere. That
yeah.
he wants
Well,
to stay. But
this could be to do with agents. This could be all sorts. It's is it one to get a payment or a contract renewal? We know it's silly season. These rumours come out, but is it circled by within? We don't know, but it's
well,
crazy
a
how
lot of
we're
the
linked with him.
agents stir it all up, don't they?
Yeah, well,
Do you know what I
we
mean?
were the ones that were linked
Unfortunately,
with him.
nowadays it's the agents. They know how to milk the system. Uh, they leave it to the lastminute.com, don't they? Arsenal, why aren't they buying? Well, they can't buy now, but they can, have these players ready to go, sort of thing. Click and collect footballers. You know what I mean? Why can't you have that now? And when is it that starts? June the 15th, the transfer
10th,
thing.
June the 10th.
Yeah, it's on
June,
Friday.
yeah. So we ain't far off it, are we?
No,
Seriously.
No,
3
Friday.
days.
In
Yeah.
my mind, we should have them players June the 10th ready to go. No, we didn't buy no one in January, so we should be looking now. We should have 3 players minimum ready to come into that team, and we
I
need
think
another 3 on top.
I think we've
But-
got all the player side sorted. It's just going now to go to the clubs and negotiate with the clubs, and that's where it will take time, especially with your bigger players.
I just don't think it's going to be straightforward for Arsenal because
Never is. No.
if we come in for, well, on the best of times, but if we come in for a player the way we are, they ain't going to suddenly say, right, okay, we're going to give you X amount for this player, and then they'll suddenly say, oh yeah, thank you, Mr. Arsenal. Yeah, there's your player. They're going to want as much as they can out of us because they know how desperate we are to sign something that is what we need, and that is a striker or two. So everyone's going to be playing hardball. Everyone wants to get a little bit of that. Going to supposedly chuck. But yeah, I'll go back to the other one on what Alex has just said about breaking the bank within reason.
It has to be reasonable.
There's got to be a bit of being sensible with it because we may have a war chest or we may have an amount to spend, but if we are gonna take a chunk of it,
I think if you're looking at a decent striker, you're going to be looking at paying 50 million minimum for a proven top striker. I mean, when you think Pepe, 72 million, come on, what was all that about? And now we're sort of holding back because of that. They lost a lot of money and a lot of face on that transfer fee. 72 million will buy you a nice striker now, wouldn't it? If you're lucky. You think, what was Grealish? He was 100 million, weren't he?
100 million,
yeah. So I don't know if Arsenal are willing to compete with the likes of City, Newcastle, and Liverpool for these sort of strikers. But if they want to be a serious club, they've got to get the money out, smash that war chest. I don't care, mate. Just get your money out.
Yeah, when we come in for Jesus, it was just us. That was the only thing. It was like, oh yeah, it's a link up with Arteta, blah blah blah. Really, really positive. Wants to come and play for Arteta. Then you're now suddenly seeing Tottenham,
exactly,
Chelsea linked, and all these clubs. There's suddenly about 6 clubs in for him. So this is what I'm start talking about, where there's suddenly a bidding war, and we don't want to be caught into that because we know we're probably not going to be. I mean, we're probably going down the same route of what we've done with Vlahovic in that aspect, where we suddenly realise, well, we're gonna concentrate all our time on this deal, but we know if Chelsea are actually interested, whatever state they're in, they've fallen on their backsides again with the new owner, so they're not going to be short of money. So
yeah, but
are we going to outbid?
I've got it's a wife's aunt's husband, and he's a Chelsea fan, and he doesn't think they'll do what Abramovich said. They've got to guarantee a certain amount over the next 3 seasons to spend.
It's going to be run like an Arsenal. It's going to be run like an American franchise business again, just like what we are. It's not.
He did say that they had to guarantee. I think it was like 350 million over the next 2 or 3 seasons to be towards transfers, and that was part of the sale terms. But other than that, I don't think you'll see them doing what Abramovich did. They might be a bit more savvy and get sponsorship deals like Sheikh does City, and make the money come in that way. But it won't be from their own pockets.
I don't think Arsenal are willing to sort of smash their sort of pay structure, are they, to get these players? When you've got Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka, their contracts are coming up for renewal. If all of a sudden they see one of these star strikers coming in on 200 grand a week, they're going to want their money up, aren't they? So I don't know what the thinking behind that sort of thing is with the Arsenal, whoever whoever goes out, and well, I suppose it's Edu, and it's meant to be sorting all this out.
No, it's Richard Garlick. I think
Richard
Garlick does the
Garlick.
contract.
So him and his
Edu does the negotiations, but Garlick sets the contracts. So it's sort of I suppose it's in tandem.
Because I see tonight. I don't know if he's playing for the German team tonight, the national side. If Florin someone now, he looks pretty tasty. I think Arsenal are after, but he's the same. I think he's younger than Eddie Nketiah, so you know he wouldn't be like a number one striker. But I think he plays left side midfield and up front. Can't remember his second name, Florin something or other. I think he's a German Albanian guy, but he's pretty decent striker. Someone they should that sort of pedigree they look at. But still, he would be, for me, not a number one. But, you know, I'm worried that Arsenal ain't going to go out and buy a top number one, personally. I can't see him smashing any records. And like what Paul's saying, as soon as our name goes on it, anyway, the price sort of doubles up. And we're not offering Champions League, are we? So we're looking for someone like Alba that wants to come and play in the Europa. He was getting on a bit, and he weren't that bothered at the time, was he? So, you know, I've got a feeling that Arsenal might even splash the cash on this one. You know, don't forget we got Charlie Patino and that Hutchinson coming through the ranks, but they're all right for the preliminary games of the Europa, but they're not experienced enough for the big games, are they?
Yeah.
So I still ain't seeing the signs that I want to see that Arsenal were serious. And to me, well, June the 10th is round the corner. Put your money where your mouth is now. But they may well have done, you know. All what we see in the newspaper.
Business done by.
Huh?
Yeah, I think come July the 1st, if we haven't got the majority of the players we're getting in, I'd start worrying. I wouldn't be too worried if you're still negotiating on the big signing, because that we know they take time, because there's lots of intricacies in there. But if you haven't got the majority of your dealings done, then, considering how short pre-season is going to be, I think you start to worry a bit, because the first game's like the 8th of August, isn't it?
Yeah, it ain't far. They got a couple of friendlies as well, haven't they, before that?
Yeah, they just announced a new one in
Germany. They've arranged a game in Germany, got a couple in America.
Before we go to America, I think it is.
And then you've got
Nuremberg,
the last
is
one.
it somewhere? Nuremberg?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I think you've got the last one is the Sevilla one of the Emirates Cup, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unless they sneak up behind doors, one in somewhere between that and the start of the season.
Yeah, they'd probably have a couple like that, wouldn't they? A couple. But the thing is, it's going to be a funny season this season, because is it November? He's stopping for the World Cup, and then it's restarting again the end of December. That's going to, you know, so the momentum's just going to die. We're going to, all of a sudden, you might be top of the league or whatever. Then you've got the World Cup again. It's for the season ticket holders at Arsenal. It must be infuriating. Do you know what I mean? Because I just want to see the Arsenal games go. I don't want to see the World Cup splitting it up in the middle, personally. Others might not feel the same, but to me, I just want to see the Premier League run the whole way through. No interruptions. But it looks, that ain't going to happen now, is it? So it's going to be a strange one. And they might not even need to buy these players again until after January. Do you know what I mean? They might think, oh, well, let's bluff it again. In January, we start buying players in out of the World Cup. You don't know how they're thinking.
No, I think it's been long that we're going to have an actual winter break. That's always been on the cards. But yeah, to put a World Cup there like that, and we know obviously the ins and outs why right, it's happened and that's been done. But yeah, I'm worried about players coming back from very warm climate to then playing straight up in freezing cold England on Boxing Day. And
Well, it's
yeah,
always our players getting injured, isn't it?
well, yeah, well, you look at it, but that's just that's just the that's just a like an English player, but it could be anyone, like everyone coming back and they're playing in warm country, whether or not that may have any effect or not, it still probably can't be great for muscles and stuff. Coming back and playing then in those like those temperature changes, I don't know. I'm not
We
I'm
did.
not a sports scientist, so yeah, but no, it just seems a bit weird and yeah, a little bit rushed, I think.
Yeah, it's not like they're getting a break. They're just a winter break. I'm all for it, but they're going out playing in the World Cup now. Surely they're going to have like a week's or 2 weeks break before they start the World Cup. Then another week's break when they come back. I don't know how that works. You know what I mean? You're surely not going to go straight into the Premier League straight after the World Cup. But you know, it's always Arsenal that suffer with these injuries. In the AFCON Cup, we didn't prepare very well for that. I don't think we were very stretched, and I can see Arsenal coming a cropper again after the World Cup. You know, Man City, Liverpool, they seem to be able to deal with it. They got bigger squads. Arsenal, unless they're going to go out and buy us another 6 players, which I can't see, I think we're going to have the same problem as last season with the AFCON Cup situation, coming back with injuries, no one to replace players, and it's going to cost us, you know.
Yeah, no, I just think our purpose or our way we should be looking is to basically improve what we've got, and that doesn't necessarily mean we have to buy absolute superstars. It means that we have to look at what we've got in our squad, address those players that are the similar ability to what we have, but with that progression. And we know, obviously, with a younger player, someone who's got that in him, there's development parts to that kind of player, and progressively you build up that squad, and that may be a better way of doing it. So I'm talking, say, yeah, you want to find a replacement for, say, a Xhaka or whatever. Find someone kind of like that, but then someone who is then going to be able to improve as he goes on over the next couple of years and be surpassing him, and that goes across the whole park. Yeah, Kieran Tierney. Yeah, there's obviously talk about the other Scottish guy coming in.
Hinkney, is it Hinkney?
Yeah, and then you're kind of looking at you want these squad players, because this is what it is. It's the players, and we've always been bloated with players that aren't good enough in the squad. Whereas if we make that golfing class of that squad a lot less, it means that when we do need to change around, there's not players coming in that we're suddenly thinking as fans, oh God, we've got to play him. You know what I mean? We've got it with our central defenders, with Saliba coming back. We'll have 3 decent centre backs with Holding there as cover again. He maybe looked at the one that's maybe the lesser of those 3. So this is what I'm saying. Then you look to maybe try and find a new Holding, but then with the development to be even better than him. And then as you go on, you've then got, say, 4 really decent defenders.
Well, Holding, you know, no respect to him. He's a decent squad player. You don't want him in your main 11 per se. I don't. You've got to look for better players. But as a squad player, can't knock him apart from that Spurs game where he had a bit of a flip out. But, you know, Tommy Ashew, he's a brilliant defender. I think he's going to be world class. He's still settling in. I think Ben White's fantastic. Even Cedric, you know, he's learning the game. He's not the best in the world, but he's all right. He can hold it with the best. But, you know, They do
He's steady.
need a
He's
lot
steady.
more.
He's not learning. He's not.
more
He's not a youngster, but he's steady. And you're not going to get a Rolls Royce performance out of him. You're just going to get that kind of that normal kind of get the job done
Yeah,
with a few moments.
Yeah,
you
well, I
need.
think
You've always
what
got to have
Cedric
them type
allows
of
is
players, Paul. I
Yeah.
think realistically, Arsenal can have 16 decent players. The rest of them are like squad players. That's probably the best you're gonna get. Do you know what I mean? But you need kind of 24 decent players now if you're a serious club. Arsenal have got a lot of games to play this season in the Europa. Got the World Cup, got the Carling Cup or whatever it's called, the FA Cup. You know, I still think they're going to be stretched again.
Well, again, it all comes down to who we bring in, and we talk about realistic signings, and I still think even though we're talking about fees, Jesus is a realistic signing. There's still the chance that he'll say yes and he wants to commit. We're there. It is realistic. I've picked up there's one player that I've been wanting for a while, Patrick Schick from Leverkusen, and he is a decent player. He's
he's just signed a new contract, hasn't he?
well. Yeah, it's one of those. There's still talk that he is available.
Yeah,
Again,
protecting his value, I suppose.
This is it, and we talk about Nketiah as well, don't we? Like that, where we're suddenly thinking, right, he signed a 5 year, or hopefully signing a 5 year contract. Again, if it doesn't work out in 2 years' time, and we're looking at it and we're not seeing improvement, then Eddie's got value. So rather than him going for free, we then get a good fee for him. But yeah, I look at him. He's a decent player. He's got good feet and he's got a bit of physicality to him.
Well, I mean, the only thing with Schick that I would say is for a player of his size, I think he's 1.93 meters. He's around about 1.9 meters tall. He doesn't score that many goals with his head, but I mean, he has had an injury, hit seasons and suspension this season, but he's still only behind Robert Lewandowski, which isn't bad, is it?
No, that's it. And I even said about exploring if we hadn't explored the potential for even Lewandowski, then I'd be disappointed. Yeah, that is probably an unrealistic signing, but it's worth a shout, isn't it? It's probably worth putting a little call in and just seeing what the status is.
Yeah.
And
what would it take?
it's a short term deal. There's no questions. It's 35 or 30. Is he 36 yet? I think it's 35.
Yeah, you maybe get 2 seasons out of him if you're lucky.
But that kind of caliber still, yeah. If it was 1 or 2 years, he wants a 2 year contract. He's going to be on a decent amount of money. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because he wants out, but Bayern probably don't really want to get rid of him. He's still got a year left, but they still want to get a bit of value from him. But he's one, but I haven't really put him in. That's a kind of wishful thinking one. I think that was one of the ones that I'd love to have seen in the Wenger years, and I think Wenger did try to sign him before he went to Germany, and yeah, Skamaka is the other one, and again, he's got a lethal shot on him. He's got a great right foot. Again, fee wise, it's achievable. Get him in, and then another one alongside him. Then there's that option. You've also got this man. There's another man who loves a phone. So him and Nketiah might be going on both sides. That'd be an interesting celebration. But you look at it, it's you've got this. I even heard a rumor about Morata as well, and
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
not feeling that at all.
no, it's not.
No, I can't see
I think
that.
that's just because we've been linked with him before.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
What about Ganabi? Is he going to come, Paul?
No, I think I don't think so. I mean,
They
you're
won't
probably
pay his
looking at
wages, will they?
it's not wages. I think it's more the fact that a Madrid or something would come in for him.
We gave him away, and now we can't afford to get him back.
No, I think there is a real possibility
Fee
that.
wise, it would be doable because fee wise, he's only worth 45, 50 million with his contract situation. So you could get him in, and then him and Jesus would give you interchangeability on across that front line, and you could put Saka on one of the other wings quite easily as well.
I think the stumbling block at the minute for Arsenal is just this contract situation. With they obviously know they need to get Saka signed up and Smith Rowe. They need to get them two bought into the idea, bought into what is happening. On the flip side of that, we're then still trying to then do the deals because again, we don't want that situation where we're suddenly saying, well, player hasn't been given or he's been offered, say, it might have, we've obviously offered Saka a contract, but then obviously if we're then paying someone else again, that's over what we've offered Saka on this new contract, that then makes it a little bit awkward again, doesn't it? It's then that kind of renegotiation again and suddenly say, well, he's on this now. And it's a bit of an awkward time. And this is where I think maybe, yeah.
I can't see Xhaka leaving us, but I can see him like wanting to up his contract, up his money for sure.
No, it's got to be done, but again, these things take a bit of time, and this is part of the issue, isn't it? It's we want the players in, but we've got to make sure we get our stuff together. But they need to be invested in what they're doing, and we need to show the ambition.
But that's where I think, Paul, if they go out and buy a proven international player, or striker, midfielder, whatever, that will show faith to the young lads, and they might not be so worried about the money. They think Kroenke is serious. Yeah, he's got a couple of top players in here. I want to play with him. You know, it ain't all about the money. It's like, yeah, I fancy playing with these boys. We could win the Europa here. Rather than all about money, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, with Saka and Smith Rowe, you've got to look at it. And carry on, John.
Is he gone?
I think he might have gone. Yeah. I mean, for me, I think the Saka and Smith Rowe is, you look at the report, supposed wages we've offered to Nketiah, and you're saying, well, actually, over a season, we've been more productive, more important to the team. And so why we want that worth to be shown in our next contracts.
Yeah, well, it's we know we need to reinvest because we've got rid of a load of players as well, which have freed up the money. So the money's there in the budget, but we need to spend it to keep those people happy. Because we can't let them have their heads turned. We've seen it before with Ashley Cole. Again, that's probably one of our darkest moments, I think, as a club, really, where we're suddenly thinking, well, again, ambition. It was a proper lack of ambition there by not giving Ashley what he wanted. That was. Yeah, it was scandalous in a way. It's scandalous, I think, from the way he actually acted as well. But that, again, as a club, we shouldn't be allowing ourselves to get in that situation.
Yeah.
If it's for sake of like $5,000 or whatever, there you go, done. We've kept the player, and that's it. That's it. And he's then our future captain. Yeah, it obviously went the other way, didn't it? But yeah, so 2 strikers out of kind of those. We then see. Oh, I saw this that Mello, a guy again from
Juve, isn't it?
and it's like I don't know what. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're seeing because they're trying to get him on loan for a couple of windows. Hasn't worked out, and yeah, get another little rumor that they've got him in again or wanting to get him in. But
Yeah, I'm not sure whether that's just because we've had interest, and in January we had a deal set up, and Kroenke wouldn't sign off on it because he didn't want to make that an obligation to
yeah,
buy,
but
which is fair enough.
I think then for this season, I'm going to lay it down. Two strikers. So I'll be a Jesus that can alternate, can play wide, can kind of come in, and then with someone like a Sheik or Skamaka, and someone who's a bit more direct, a bit more physical, can do the stuff down the centre. So you got the 2 strikers. We then look. You've got Tielemans, and I think that is going to be a fairly close deal to be done. I think that's nearly sorted.
Yeah, I can see him coming for sure.
And another one was the fact that we look like we're back in for Bazuma, which is an interesting one considering we are looking for backups for Partey. Yeah, we look at Sambi. He's not a replacement for Partey. I don't think he is a defensive midfielder. I don't fit. I question. I think Partey still is that kind of a holding player. Again, he does play different roles in different games. But I do see him more as that kind of holding kind of midfielder, which he started playing through last season, didn't he? So yeah, we got them two, and straight away you're looking at there's a good amount of depth in that midfield there. And you're
What about Declan Rice? You fancy him, Paul?
Yeah, for 200 million, yeah.
Well, you see, I like Matty. I like Phillips from Leeds.
He's injured now. He's probably be worth.
Yeah, he's just gone off, hasn't he?
We might be able to get him for like 5 million.
Yeah, I think he could do the job that sitting there alongside the party, and that's a very strong midfield.
Yeah, but as I say, you then chuck in this little Zinchenko.
Yes, at City he's played left back, but for Ukraine he plays on the left side of the midfield, doesn't he? So
another little versatile midfielder.
Yeah,
can fill in for and be a good kind of foil for Tierney.
Yeah, so I'm not sure you'd have him and go for Hickey, but
no, I'd say it's one of those.
Zinchenko's probably got more experience of a Premier League, so
it's a great player to have, though. You think he could even play as an attacking midfielder on the left. So you're suddenly looking at there's potential that he could play a number of positions, all dependent on how Arteta sees him. But yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that Hickey would be a straight up player to come straight in. Anyhow, I think he's one for the future. And
I think they see him probably a little bit more reliable than Tavares, and that's probably what they're looking for, slightly more, and allow Tavares to grow and develop.
Yeah, I think I think he's going to probably go on like. I'd be surprised actually if one of the two, Sambi or Tavares, didn't go out on loan, and I'd even chuck them into a team that they're going to get stressed. They're going to get really put under pressure. So maybe a team that's come up, and you suddenly say, okay, well, all right, if that club wants him or one of those clubs wants him, then go for it.
Yeah.
Let him get his experience, get his game time through a season, get that kind of experience of dealings with when things aren't going your way, and then you come back and
I'd
you
like
see
to see him go to Forest because I think he's quite a decent manager at the Forest one, isn't he? He did quite well in the cup ones against bigger teams. So I think giving him, or even putting Balogun with one of those lower teams, giving them Premier League experience and in a lesser team might help.
Yeah, sorry, just laughing at John. John keeps on.
Yeah, we keep popping in and out, don't we?
So it's almost a bit. Is he Arteta in, Arteta out, or is he in the stream, out the stream?
He just needs to knock his house down and build one that's not got lead line walls.
Yeah, we've got to stop like, coming online when he's in a bunker. Keep your hand on John. It's going to be another ride next season. Yeah, Alex. It will always be. I don't think supporting Arsenal will ever be any different. That's part and parcel. There's no difference there. Just a different year and some newer places. But yeah, Germany have just scored.
So that's not a surprise, is it?
Well, no.
Because he keeps faith in Pickford, Maguire, and Stones, and that. How you can have Maguire in that squad with a season he's had?
I just can't believe we're still not just trying players out. Still, what we do for friendlies, we would be testing out players. We'll be giving youngsters, players that aren't kind of in the setup, a run out. Now we're seeing 52 minutes, Saka still playing, and you're just thinking, when's this guy going to be given a little break? He's going to be come the World Cup. He's going to be dead and buried. It's just going to be relentless. So yeah, I don't know. It's a bit. Yeah, I don't really get it,
and that's why we need an upgrade on Pepe so that we can have a player to come in and give him that rest next season, so he's not having to take the burden all on himself.
Yeah, nearly just had a good chance there. Good save. Johnny's back. Here we go. You all right, John?
Sorry, lads. Yeah, the old wife's playing up again. Wife is misbehaving tonight.
You need to stay out the bunker.
Isn't it? Yeah. I couldn't connect onto the laptop, man, for some reason, so I had to go back on the old dog and bone.
Oh, God.
And sorry, lads.
No worries. It's all right. No, good. So, John.
Yeah.
Alex has said, keep your hand on John. It's going to be another ride next season. Yeah, we know it is, don't we? No, it's going to be a rough ride.
Yeah, another roller coaster. I mean, I actually enjoyed last season for all its trials and tribulations. We didn't win anything. We come top 5, got into Europe, but it was quite enjoyable in a sadistical kind of way. It's not what I wanted, what not I hoped for, but I had a great season meeting like all you guys and with Twitter and all that lot. I found it to be one of the best seasons actually. Just supporting the club, but trophy wise, no, it wasn't very good at all. And
No,
it's great seeing these youngsters coming through. I just want them to get a couple more experienced players to come and help out the youngsters. You know, I want a couple more to come around, help out the likes of Smith Rowe, Bakaya Zaka, because we did flog them, man. We really flogged them straight after the internationals. They was in the side, and you could see they were tired. You know, they didn't really have a rest. I think Bakay has played more or less every game, and I think
Yeah,
last
he's done every
season
game. Yeah, I
he
think he's
played a
played
hell
every
of
game.
for a young lad. He's played a lot of games, and Smith Rowe looked tired. You know, they just couldn't
Yeah,
rest them.
soon to come back.
No
Soon to
one to
come back
take their
from
place.
COVID, won't
But I'm really optimistic next season. I think it's going to be. I think we're going to have a good run in the Europa. I'm not the Premiership. I don't think Arteta's going to be that bothered. His main aim is Europa. That's a route to Champions League football. He's got a decent enough to do it. He's just got to get a few more add-ons, and we get in the top 6 quarterfinals. We've got a good chance of winning that cup with a decent team. Yeah, was it Roma won it last year? Mourinho's team. We can be up there with them boys. But the only thing that's really threw me this season is that World Cup halfway through. Well, not even halfway through. Sort of the beginning of the Premier League, then it's the World Cup stop-start. I don't know how that's going to pan out. First time it's ever happened in anyone's lifetime, I think. So it's going to be interesting. But for me, I'm totally against it. It's a complete farce, that World Cup. That's another topic anyway. But completely ruined the Premiership season for me before it's even started. But once it restarts again, that's when it'll all kick off again. That's what I'm saying. That January sales again, they might not need to even bother buying these players. They can wait till January and kick start because there's going to be a long break, isn't there? They might be able to bluff it again. I don't know. I don't think Arteta wants to, but Kroenke might. That's my thing with Kroenke. I don't think he'd back Arteta. I think Arteta's got a lot of ambition, not that Kroenke will back him up. I think he will back him up to a point, and that's it. If it don't, we're all saying Arteta's on borrowed time if he don't do anything this season. Well, Kroenke might be on borrowed time because Arteta might think, well, if you don't back me up, mate, you know what? I'm going to go elsewhere and ply my trade elsewhere. This could happen. I'm only surmising, but do you know what I mean? Let's wait and see. It's going to
Well,
be a strange season.
we know that I think the main focus of concern is going to be with the Kroenkes, and we know we're in this mess because of the lack of interaction, the lack of investment from the Kroenkes. They're 10 years from when we moved to the stadium. That was criminal. That's unforgivable. You can do whatever you can say any other mistake that's happened with any player, but for not investing in the club for that 10 years when we actually needed that kind of little kickstart investment or something like that, just a little push. I'm not talking of hundreds of millions, but something just to give us that little impetus to kind of maybe go and renew a couple of contracts or get a decent player in. That's just one part to just show that ambition. We didn't, and that's how our stock become gradually less and less. And I see it now where we've now suddenly reached that point where there's nowhere else to go. There's no value in our squad really at the lowest point. So players on huge amount of wages. No one really wants to take these players on these high wages. So we've had to kind of almost say, right, okay, well, we're going to have to just hold our hands up and we have to get rid of them and make them disappear. And we did, obviously. Ozil was the worst, and then even Aubameyang just with the contracts and the output.
It's disgusting how they can just sit on their hands and blackmail the club. That's the way it is now,
But it's all comes down to the position of where the club is and how it's been left, whether or not he owned full part of the club or not. It was still his club. He still wanted to buy that club, so it's affecting him more in the long term because the club isn't where it should be, and this is why we should be thinking of second, third place, or whatever, pushing the higher levels of the league as opposed to what we are doing now. But yeah,
well,
I don't think I know Arteta's going to be under pressure, but I don't think he will be under. Well, I don't think if he has a bad. Again, this is another topic for another time. For what would be classing as a bad season next year, and I don't really want to go into that because that is another. We could have another hour or two just going through that because we don't know. I look at progression in the short term, and I'll say, if we can get a good run in Europe and we can get a couple of good runs in the cups and build on fifth, potentially pushing into the top four, because we know it's not going to be easy. Even Newcastle are going to be coming into it again. It's going to be very hard. So you'll find there's going to be 7, potentially 8 teams that are going to be fighting for that top 4. And if West Ham strengthen and keep Declan Rice, then they'll be thereabouts. I'm not saying that they're going to be really pushing top 4, but they're certainly going to be in and around and of worthy note when we play them. And that's the same with Newcastle because we don't know what they're going to be doing in this window. Already seen the huge change from when Hal come in. When we played them, we beat them 3-0, wasn't it? 3-0?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 3-0 because we weren't conceding too many goals then. And then that then changed the way they then suddenly started playing. And they started getting more, and then they got the players in January, and haven't really looked back, have they? And I think they finished second in the league. If you looked at since Don Howard, not Don Howe, Eddie Howe.
He's done a pretty good job there.
Yeah. So Eddie, when Eddie
joined.
joined, they finished second in the league. It's quite interesting. Interesting stat. I think it was either second or third. I think it was second. But so Alex has put down Neves, Bizuma, Maka, Jesus, Osman, Ruiz, Nunes. I think Nunes is gone.
Yeah, he's going to go. You've got Madrid, you've got Barcelona, you've got Bayern, or even Liverpool, because they'll want to keep up with City, won't they?
Beyond will be going to Champions League, so it'll be United.
He doesn't want to leave Barca, does he, De Jong?
Yeah,
it'll be down to whether Barca want to sell him.
Yeah, and let's face it, they're in a bit of trouble, aren't they?
Yeah. And the only other one there I'd say is Osman is unrealistic. I wouldn't pay that sort of money at Napoli are putting out there. What was it, 90 odd million they want for him? He's not worth that. Maybe 50, 60 at best, because he's not proven in this league. So you're taking a risk, and 90 million's too big much of a risk, because if he flops, where are you going to get that money back from?
Yeah, no, I think a good round. I think of what I said. So 2 strikers. You then look at. I'd take the 2 Basuma and Tielemans. So that would make 4. Zinchenko would be an interesting 5th. And then if you chucked in then Gnabry to make 6, I think that'd be a fairly strong squad. Considering we then look at who's on loan. We know we've got rid of Lacazette. Lacazette has said goodbye. He's confirmed he's not renewing, and he's yeah, bye bye Lacazette.
Thank you, Lacquer. He did a good job for us, the fella.
Well, see, you can't. In the end of the day, it's a chance for him to go back to the club he began with, and it's one of those. It hasn't worked out towards the end. Yeah, 5 odd years, nothing special. I would class that if you're rating it between 1 and 10, you'd probably say his time maybe it's all right, not massively great. 5, 6. I wouldn't class him as a world beater or a total changer. I wouldn't class him in that mold. But the effort and the desire and the ability of what he's done with the youngsters and that is second to none. I think he's real good
Yeah,
character.
he was a club man, weren't he? You know,
Yeah.
he done
So
the best of his ability. He never slated the club. He just got on with the job. He never had a bad word to say about
the amount
us.
of times where he was sitting on the sub bench, he could have easily come out and really had a
Exactly.
moan and a dig over various managers as well. So yeah, no, hope he does well, and hope he's happy. At the end of the day, that's the main thing. He's got to play with a smile on the face, and yeah, unfortunately, those two finished the last couple of years with not many smiles. While Lacazette was just a just
I think
emotion.
too much was asked of him, Paul, this season. To be fair, you know, they just wanted too much out of him. They're trying to be the captain, bring on the kids, and score goals. You know, when probably he was only up for one of them sort of jobs. You know?
Yeah,
but he got on with it. He didn't moan, didn't he? Unlike others that have left the club. Good luck to him.
yeah, no, that's it. So yeah, so we look at maybe 6 players coming in. So our 17 turns to 16 because of Laka. So I then put Bellerin out. So he's going 100%. I can't see him staying.
He
Leno
ain't
is
coming back, is he? No way.
Leno is definitely going as well. I think
I think Saliba's coming back. They keep saying he is. Well, I can't see it.
Carrera to go.
I hope he does.
I still think Pepe's going to go.
Yeah, I do too.
I think he's had his time. You look at Renarsson, the young goalkeeper, was out on loan in Belgium, I think. He's going to go. Mari's gone. Well, barring fee. Torreira is probably going to go. I think the fee's already been done. The interesting one is Guendouzi. Because, he was talking, or he put a post out saying bye, or something like it. Almost like he was like actually saying bye to the Marseille fans when I thought a fee had been agreed. So whether or not that fee had actually broke down, and there's no actual agreement on that loan deal, and he's actually coming back to Arsenal, would make
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Whether or not the ship sailed with him and Arteta, I think he's maybe broken relationship a little bit too much with what he's come out with. What do you think on Guendouzi?
No, there's no way he's coming back. No, they're too stubborn.
I don't think that relationship's
I'd love him
repairable.
to come back. That's never going to happen, man.
Yeah,
it's unprofessional in a way, really, between both of them. He should do.
It's gone again.
Nowadays, if they don't get away, that's it. See you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't know who's right or who's wrong in that one. Arteta or Guendouzi, but I can't see him coming back.
Well, I think if it was a direct thing from that incident at Brighton, where
Yeah.
he's a bit like, about all the money. Was that a good role model or a thing with these youngsters in the squad playing? And you're suddenly thinking, if he's like that, what's he like with inside the group? And yeah, you almost want that. That's a little bit too much. So if he comes back, they can totally change it.
Mm.
Experience
Oh yeah.
comes, and with age comes a little bit more, like probably maturity. So you do hope that maybe he's learned, but you can never say never. But yeah, I still got him as going, but that means that then we've got rid of another 8 players.
How about Ainsley,
Who let go?
Maitland-Niles, and Nelson?
So I've selected Maitland-Niles, Nelson, and Balogun to stay. So that would then make 9 players that would then come into that squad. So,
You reckon they're going to stay?
huh?
You reckon they're going to stay, them 3, Paul?
I think those 3 will stay. I've got a funny feeling Maitland-Niles might now suddenly say, I was wrong to not want to go and play in midfield.
Well, I think his missus wanted him to leave this year, so I don't know.
Well, he wanted to go. He wanted to play in
Got to
midfield.
say in that.
He went on loan, and then Mourinho played him at right back or right wing back,
And didn't play him that often either.
No, and then he played on the left attacking midfielder for a little bit, and then was out of the team. But he may be an interesting little player to still keep around. He's an Arsenal boy. Same with Nelson, and you're thinking there's another 2 boys that are a little bit more seasoned in experience.
Would you send Hutchinson out on loan then if you kept Nelson?
I think Kroenke keep him in because it's saving money, but I don't think that'll.
Yeah, if anything, I would probably say Maitland-Niles would be the one maybe to head off out of the Nelson and Balogun. I think Balogun will go on loan again to another club, be it maybe say one of the teams that have come up or lower division. I'm not sure Championship will suit him or what he needs. I think he needs to play Premiership to toughen him up. But Nelson will be an interesting one. So he's had a decent loan.
I'm just
He's not had
reading
a bad
now,
season.
Go, John.
I'm just reading now, Paul. Under 18 and the under 23 have just let cruel something. So that's going to be an because their teams ain't got managers now.
Yeah, they've gone number 1 and number 2 over there, haven't they? So yeah, it's one of those. They had a little restructure last season when the academy got ripped up a little bit. So yeah, it's a bit of a disappointment.
And we've also lost head of performance as well.
What's that?
I'm just thinking who's going to be keeping an eye on them lads now.
Head of performance as well. So the new head on the medical staff they got rid of.
Yeah, I was saying they should get that Jack Wiltshire in as under 23 man.
Well, look, there's rumours that he was they're going to call it quits. He said he's not. He don't enjoy football outside of the Premier League. So if he can't play Premier League, he's just gonna quit. So yeah, the natural thing would be to get him into coaching because it's the natural progression. And if you can get an Arsenal fan in to actually deal with the club in and around. Look, Tottenham done it with Ledley King, haven't they? And you look at it like that, and you think is another player that's a club man. They've got him in and around the club. Why not? Why not get him in? I wish there was a couple more of the ex players in and around the club, but yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? It's probably a bit political as well. I don't know. It's a bit strange, but we don't know. We don't know all the ins and outs. And he's gone again.
Yo.
But yeah, I think we've gone through a fair amount.
Yeah. It's been pretty. We've covered pretty much everything, I think. I mean, for me, I think next season you're looking at the top four, Europa League, probably or an FA Cup or something, and to be 9 to 12 points closer to Liverpool and City. You've got to close that gap. What were we, 20 odd points plus from both of those teams? You've got to bring that down to 9, 10, around a 9, 10 point margin this season. And then the season after, try and close that gap and challenge. We're going to do it. We can't do it in one season, I don't think.
No, it's going to be very, very tricky. We finished 24 points behind City.
And if
I
you
don't think
not,
Arteta be that worried in the Premiership. I think he's just going to concentrate on Europa and maybe the FA Cup. He'd be going to finish as high as he can, but I don't think he'd be that bothered in the Premiership, to be honest with you. As long as he qualifies for Europa. But I think he would, in his mind, he'd be going for Champions League via the Europa if he gets the right players in. That's what I think. Oh, I don't know what he thinks, but that's just my guess.
I think they were talking about Tottenham, what the progress would be for them, and they were saying, oh yeah, you need to get like 12 points closer, 10 or 12 points closer to Liverpool and Man City. So that would put them on 83, so 10 points behind. But considering the seasons they've had, they've drawn 8 and say lost 2, or City had lost 3 and drawn 6 or something. Scored a ton load more goals, and this is why I question about Arsenal. Where we've played without a striker for a large majority of the season, that's scoring goals. Yet Tottenham have prolific attacking midfielder in Son and a prolific, apparent world-class striker in Harry Kane. All right, apparent, so yeah, he ain't bad. He ain't bad. He's annoying as hell, but they should be scoring 20.
We don't want him playing against us. He scores too many.
Yeah, but they'll score 20 plus goals each a season.
Mate, that was the difference between Arsenal and Spurs. Son and Kane. I don't mind saying it. You know,
I don't buy this.
That's how they come in front of us.
They scored 8 goals more than us all season in a season that we've struggled to really score goals because of our striking.
But it was the second half of the season they sort of come back into it. You know? Well, we let them in. Come on, let's be honest. We gave it to them. Really, they
we gave it to them with that performance at Newcastle. That was the one that. Newcastle.
It weren't great, but I think they knew they'd given everything at Tottenham, and the way the game just went away from us, considering the start we actually had was really good. It was just then, against run of play, they got the penalty as well. I thought we were pressing them really well, and then it just went a little bit, just pear shaped as it normally does when something goes against us. Does it against City? The City away game was one that we started off really well in the first 7 minutes or so, really pressing them well, and there was a game plan. And then all of a sudden, they've gone up the other end. First attack, went and scored. And then, within that, they've then down to 10 men and 2-0 within the next 10 minutes. And you're suddenly thinking it's just like, it's the same old, those kind of issues where we don't make it easy for ourselves.
I think our away form needs to improve this season, doesn't it?
I just looked at us. If we're talking of improvement, and we were saying, all right, we conceded 9 goals in the first 3 games. We conceded 48 overall, but we then conceded 17 goals in the last 10 games. So 26 of those 48 goals that we conceded in those like 13 games. Then,
And if you look at it as well, at home we only conceded, I think, 13 or 14. It was away from home we conceded 30 odd goals this season.
Yeah, but if you look at 25 games, just conceding 22. I mean, that's over like it's mental. You still think if that was any other season, 22 goals in 25, you'd be looking at maybe say 30 goals in 38 or something like that if that carried on. Take the Liverpool game out of that 25, it would have been 18 in 24. But it just goes to show that there was obviously the City game, it was five goals. The 3 goals or the 3 games at the start of the season, which made it look really bad to start with. And that's why we were in there like negative goal difference for so long, because we were just trying to claw it back. And then each time we got 3 results, we'd then go into a lull again and then lose another couple or whatever. It was just a little bit bitty. But I said if he can get in that kind of consistency where we are organised throughout the whole season and we do make ourselves hard to beat all through the season, then we're in with a good chance of doing something decent.
That is it. The consistency was the key, Paul. It was such a stop-start season. We had a couple of good runs, and then we just started losing games again. It was just so frustrating. But consistency is the key, and I'm sure Arteta will be on that. If he ain't, he's gonna be in bother, because his honeymoon's over this season.
Now. Yeah, and I think now if Saliba comes back, you've got that ability to move White or Saliba out to the right if Tomiyasu is injured, and cover that side. If you get Zinchenko in, he can cover at left back and there's not a massive drop off in quality on those wings.
Yeah, well, it's not about those world class players, is it? At the end of the day, it's getting those options, isn't it? And those players. So even like a Zinchenko, it's not. You wouldn't class him as a world class signing, but he's a decent player to come in or play in and around to you. And if you're kind of just
it's a bit like Liverpool. They've got Henderson. He's not world class, but he can come in and do a job. Milner's in there. He's not world class, but he's a decent enough player to, and that's what Liverpool have got. They've got no significant drop off between the players they can bring in off Origi when they brought him on as their striker, and that's where we need to get to, and that's what he is.
It's just a foundation, isn't it? A solid foundation where you've got good, solid players across the squad, and then as that squad then gets filtered out, because there'll obviously be bound to be players that don't fit in and don't fit the team. We know that's going to happen. You have 6 players, there'll probably be one that's not quite doing it. Then that's where you then look for someone else to come in and be replaced. But then once you've got the solid grounding of a proper squad that is playing the way you want them to play, then you can then start going for those real jewels, I suppose, as you go on, because you now know there's proper stuff behind them or below them to carry on. But again, I don't think it's a do or damn kind of like season for Arteta. I still think he's got a year after this one.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason he might go is if he lost the first 10, 11 games. I think if it was that sort of.
Oh Christ! If that happens and it kind of is a bit like Emery, then you know there's something not quite right, and he has maybe lost the confidence in the dressing room. If that kind of effect happens, then and there seems to be no movement or change, then that's when it changes a little bit, doesn't it? Because you realise that it's not there's nothing really happening within the squad, so something's got to give. Whereas if it's maybe a couple of defeats and then you go on another run, but you're still getting the results and doing stuff, then I'd say fair enough. It's one of those. It's still part of having a young squad, and no matter who you bring in, you're still going to have that young or those young ingredients in there. But if we can add to those, then it's obviously going to help.
Yeah.
I think Arteta might be where we've got that World Cup, because if it is going a bit Pete-tong, he might get a break just in time where he can recoup again and have another go after the World Cup, because when's it starting? August, they're not stops again in November the 15th, I think. So August the 6th to November the 15th, then the World Cup will start. So if it ain't going too good for him, he's got a bit of breathing space. Hopefully it is going good for him, but he's got another 4 weeks to sort of have a break and regroup.
Yeah,
and as I say,
I think that break will be important because it's once you come back off that World Cup break, it'll be what teams hit the ground running again. What teams are able to
breaking news. I think England might have a penalty.
Ooh.
Kane gone down.
That means Kane always goes down. you only got to put your hand on his shoulder.
Yeah, penalty to England. 5 minutes left, but
my dead grandmother could come out of her grave and put her hand on his back. He'd fall over.
As a kind of similar, when David Luiz went through against Wolves, and the guy caught his knee and ran, and he got sent off. This German player's kind of done similar. He's kind of tripped up over Kane's foot. He's lost balance, tripped up. Kane's fell over.
What's the score, lads?
Well, Kane's about to take it. So,
what's the score at the minute?
It's 1-0. 1-0 to Germany still.
1-0 to Germany.
Yeah. So scores this 1-0.
As long as our boys ain't injured, that's all I'm bothered about.
Yeah.
It's only Saka playing, isn't it?
Hopefully, I'm still playing.
If they come back uninjured, I'm happy. I couldn't care about the result of that game.
He must be off now, Saka, surely. I think he is.
I would hope so.
This is live.
Look, Paul, I'm going to have to leave you boys now, mate. I've got to get off.
Ooh, yeah, 1-1. 1-1. England are back in it.
Yeah, you wouldn't back Kane to miss a penalty, would you? He don't miss many.
No.
You weren't a Kane.
Yeah, so that's it.
Well,
but
I have to leave you boys now.
Yeah, I'll finish up.
Thanks for having this on, but I'm running late, right? So
no, it's all good, mate.
See you boys again.
Well,
great talking.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Take care, lads.
Cheers. See you later.
Take care. Yeah.
I can get off now.
Yeah, go. So yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, this is in the North Bank. Thanks to Richard for coming on, mate. Yeah.
No, thank you for inviting us.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Are you going to the Emirates Cup? Will you be going to the Emirates Cup?
I'm hoping to. I'm not sure. I may be away on holiday, but I'm hoping to.
If you are, I'll catch up because I've got a ticket for West Stand. So.
All right. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, some of the other crew can get there as well.
Yeah. We'll touch base on that. Yeah. But it's all good. But cheers.
Okay, thank you. It's been interesting. Thank you. Good. You take care.
And you, mate. Cheers.
All right, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.